A Sunday morning homicide and a quick investigation puts two in custody before the day is over. What police in Schenectady are telling us about the case tonight.
Plus, thousands of migrants in New York State should be ready to work any day now. While Governor Kathy Hochul says they're still working through that process.
CBS 6 News starts now.
Good evening. First at 5, two people arrested after a homicide in Schenectady over the weekend.
Tonight, police sharing details on those involved and calling it a win regarding a quick investigation. Police say 42-year-old Leroy Chisholm was found shot in a home on State Street and died shortly after police arrived. Officers received several reports of gunshots in that area around 7 yesterday morning. 31-year-old Kevin Dingle and 54-year-old Jeffrey Bashaw now charged with second-degree murder. Last night, while police were preparing to execute a search warrant at an apartment on Crane Street, those two suspects surrendered.
We're still working on motivations and connections and relationships between the parties involved. We're not ready to release any of that to the public at this time, as we are still, working on our investigation and preparing our case. This was an all-day affair yesterday. Interviews, surveillance, canvassing evidence, processing crime scenes. There were a lot of things that we took into consideration, like we always do in these cases, and putting all of that together is what helped us make those arrests last night so quickly.
An investigation is still ongoing tonight. The pair also facing charges of tampering with evidence and weapons charges. Police believe this was an isolated incident and not a random act. And police say this marks the first homicide in the city of Schenectady since May.
Police and city leaders today, while sharing details on this homicide, pointed to a very busy weekend for law enforcement and first responders. There were 4 fires in just 3 days, also a deadly car crash and this homicide. Continuing coverage tonight on the plan to close Rensselaer County's only maternity ward. St. Peter's Health Partners releasing a report today regarding the proposed closure of the Burdett Birth Center.
The idea gaining significant backlash from the community since it was announced back in June. CBS 6's Brianna Supardi diving into this report for us. She joins us now live outside the center in Troy. And Bree, what's in the report? Ashley, thank you. Governor Kathy Hochul thanking the first responders first on scene at the horrific charter bus crash last month in Orange County. The bus was carrying members of the Farmingdale High School marching band. A chaperone and a band leader were killed in the crash. More than 200 people responded to the scene along Interstate 84 on September 21st. This video you're seeing now is the Farmingdale High School band performance from last week. The first performance these students have had since the tragic accident. 40 students were traveling on the bus that day while going to an annual trip to a band camp in Pennsylvania. The preliminary investigation details from the National Transportation Safety Board say the bus left the right lane, crossed the left lane and shoulder, and then hit the roadside barrier, coming to a stop down a 50-foot ravine.
None of you think of yourselves as heroes, but allow us to think of you as heroes. Allow us to say thank you from a grateful state and the grateful families of the Farmingdale Marching Band and an entire community that was traumatized by this.
We have most of the students that were on bus 1 are back in school. We still have a few left that we have to get back into the school building, but the good part is at the end of the day they all will recover, and we will get every one of those kids back in our buildings at some point.
The superintendent says most of the students on the bus are back in school and all are expected to recover.
Well, New York cements its spot as a national tech leader.
How some parts of the state are getting a big boost as hubs for production of vital technology. And Schenectady drawing art enthusiasts again, the new exhibit downtown and what it means for local businesses too. Following the massive success of the Van Gogh Immersive Experience in Schenectady, which saw more than 100,000 visitors, a new art exhibit in town is promising another one-of-a-kind experience for art lovers in the area. One that organizers say is sure to leave you feeling more inspired, curious, and passionate than when you first arrived. A step into the Armory in Schenectady is a step back in time into the life of Claude Monet.
Providing what we call edutainment to everyone.
The immersive digital art exhibit surrounding you with more than 300 paintings by the Impressionist artists that you can touch.
Everything's got the texture built into it because Monet's style, obviously a lot of layers and paint upon paint.
The vibrant colors painting a fuller picture of Monet's life and legacy as they guide you through multiple rooms and galleries. Why is it so important to really bring these works of art to life? And what do you hope attendees can really take away from this experience?
Well, some of our guests, we run the gamut from those who are very familiar with art and art history to some that it's maybe their first experience. So creating an immersive environment where guests really feel a part of the paintings, they can learn about the artist's life and fully immerse themselves in the experience. For some, it may be their first introduction in the art world, and we hope it fosters a real passion.
The art under your feet, up above and on the walls, drawing in people from all across the capital region eager to get a closer look.
Art is something that you have to appreciate and come out and see, and the way they've done this is so much more powerful than just a regular art museum. If we saw this come out, we just knew we had to come out to it and take advantage of it. It's so fantastic to have this in our own community.
The exhibit also featuring a virtual reality experience transporting you into Monet's world and some of the landscapes inspiring his greatest work. As part of the exhibit, attendees can even create their own art, and then they can have it displayed right here on the big screen. Inspiring many of the attendees to lay out the brushstrokes which make up their own lives.
Actually, I have never been in this building, and I've lived in the area for about 30 years, so it's really a delight. We're all fans of Monet, but also we had gone all the way to New York to see Van Gogh, and it was such a delight that we had this particular exhibit so close.
By the end of the hour to hour and a half long experience, attendees are left with a new, deeper understanding of the artist and a deeper appreciation of his art.
You really lose yourself, and to be lost in the paintings of Monet, I mean, what could be nicer, you know?
Organizers also plan to feature paint and sip, yoga classes, and host student educational field trips in the space. City leaders say the extra foot traffic is also great for the community. Kathy Gaddis, Schenectady County legislator and president of the Discover Schenectady Board of Directors, saying in part, Schenectady County has become a destination for arts and entertainment in the capital region and beyond. These immersive showcases draw visitors from far and wide, enhancing the appeal of our community for residents and tourists alike. For more information about the exhibit, visit this story on CBS6Albany.com.
Now, CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by your local upstate Chevy dealers.
The New England Patriots stunning the Buffalo Bills in Foxborough yesterday afternoon in a game that went right down to the wire.
It's the Patriots' first win since Week 3 against the Jets and just their second win all year long. The game came down to one final touchdown drive from Mac Jones. And with just 15 seconds to go in the game, Mac Jones finds Mike Gesicki for the game-winning touchdown. They hold on to win 29-25. The victory marks Pats coach Bill Belichick's 300th NFL win. Bills quarterback Josh Allen spoke about his team's performance after the game.
I'm going to watch this film and find a way to get there, whatever it is. You know, our season's not over. It's a long season. I know it feels pretty bleak right now, but you know, we're going to figure it out.
Coach Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills says his team struggled to keep the Patriots offense off of the field yesterday and says there's much to be improved. And to the diamond now, with October baseball heating up, the Rangers forcing Game 7 against the Houston Astros in Houston last night. The game was tight throughout until Adolis Garcia took to the plate in the ninth. Garcia launches a homer to right field with the bases loaded for a grand slam. It put the Rangers up 9-2 and way out of reach for the Astros. And tonight, Game 7 gets underway between the Astros and Rangers at 8 o'clock at Minute Maid Park. The winner will be crowned American League champs and will head to this year's Fall Classic and take on either the Phillies or the Diamondbacks.
6 games so far in that series, and the visiting team has won every single game.
Well,
so the Rangers are the visitors again tonight? We'll see what happens. Yeah, we run for you.
CBS 6 News starts now.
First at 5:30, your top stories and your weather headlines. Here's what you need to know.
2 men charged with murder after a Schenectady man was found shot in his home on State Street yesterday morning. 42-year-old Leroy Chisholm died after officers arrived. 31-year-old Kevin Dingle and 54-year-old Jeffrey Bashaw were arrested last night.
St. Peter's Health Partners releasing a report today regarding its proposed closure of the Burdett Birth Center. The closure has been delayed up to 6 months as they work to address shortcomings that include transportation and concerns over access to maternal care.
No eligible migrants in New York have received work authorization papers under a new deal with the federal government that was approved 1 month ago. Governor Hochul says it could take up to 60 days to process eligible asylum seekers. In-depth coverage on all of these stories online. Just head to CBS6Albany.com.
In roughly 2 weeks, voters will head to polling sites to cast their ballots for local elected officials, everything from mayor to city council members to sheriffs and a whole lot more.
CBS 6's Emma Quinn spoke with political experts about how our local elections right now play a role in the race for president next year and what we can expect right here in the Capital Region.
Yeah, well normally local races.
2 more hostages being held by Hamas have been released in efforts to free roughly 200 people kidnapped by the terror group in Gaza. The war between Israel and Hamas is becoming much more complicated and potentially dangerous as other countries get involved. But how will that impact America's role and possibly those American hostages being held in Gaza? Chief Political Correspondent Scott Thuman explains. And there is a way you can help all people of Israel. Our parent company Sinclair is proud to partner with Magen David Adom for Sinclair Cares, humanitarian relief for Israel. Your donations will help efforts to bring humanitarian relief and emergency medical services to Israel. To learn how you can help, go to sinclaircares.com or scan the QR code on your screen. An off-duty Alaska Airlines pilot now charged with 83 counts of attempted murder after authorities say he tried to shut down the engines of a passenger jet mid-flight. The call to air traffic control came in last night. The off-duty pilot was riding in the jump seat of the cockpit during the Horizon Air trip from Everett, Washington to San Francisco. The flight was diverted to Portland. 44-year-old Joseph Emerson, an off-duty Alaska Airlines pilot, was arrested. He's now facing 83 counts of attempted murder and reckless endangerment. Alaska Airlines, which owns Horizon Air, says the captain and first officer responded quickly. Engine power was not lost. No injuries were reported. The FBI is now investigating. Well, scarf and sweater weather is just about here.
Feels like it tonight, but switching your wardrobe for the season may actually be bad for the environment. Lee Stoll explains.
While you pull out the boots and coats in your closet, it is
Good points all. All right, a new approach to trauma recovery.
Next tonight, Inside Your World Investigates gives us a look at how veterans dealing with PTSD are getting help from a special program. And tense global news can have all of us feeling stressed out, but it's the little things that can make a positive difference.
Bed bugs are going viral all over social media as they spread from France and beyond. We'll show you some tips to make sure you don't attract any on your next trip abroad. Post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, affects about 1 in 14 adults. It's often caused by traumatic experiences ranging from sexual assault to car wrecks to house fires, and there are higher rates among combat veterans.
National correspondent Mark Hyman taking a look at one organization that pairs veterans with PTSD with outdoor activities to aid in their recovery, and tonight's Inside Your World Investigates.
I think it's critical for all Americans.
The Warriors and Quiet Water staff stay in regular contact with alumni after they leave the ranch to strengthen relationships and monitor their progress.
Good in the weather department.
70s in late October.
Right, I'm trying to focus.
Welcome to upstate.
I saw the 37 and I got a little nervous, but then I saw the good news. So.
Big swings there, yeah. 37 and 73,
Yeah.
you transpose the numbers.
Steve, thanks. Well, coming up at 6 tonight on CBS 6, thousands of migrants in New York still waiting to work.
And that's despite an agreement with the federal government. Why it's taking so long to process these cases.
And Schenectady drawing art enthusiasts again, the new exhibit downtown and what it means for local businesses, too. There were Unwanted visitors at Paris Fashion Week this year. Bed bugs. Bad timing as Paris prepares to welcome the Olympic Games in 2024.
Yeah, this is really a problem for anyone who travels anywhere, especially with the holidays fast approaching. In your Consumer Reports tonight, CBS 6's Lara Bryn breaks down how to keep the bed bugs away during your next trip. Okay.
Not a good situation.
No.
All right, switching gears now. Medical experts agree that stress causes unnecessary harm to our bodies.
And the war between Israel and Hamas is upping that stress, of course, a situation individuals cannot control that's creating high levels of tension and anxiety for many people. Stress has been shown to increase blood pressure, disrupt metabolic health, compromise the immune system, and cause sleep and mood disorders. Dr. Michelle Tagati is a professor of psychological science at Vassar College. She says focusing on the little things can have profound effects on body and mind.
Pouring yourself a warm cup of coffee, appreciating the sunrise when you wake up, reading a good book, or writing in your gratitude journal. What this does is there's called the undoing hypothesis, where it helps bring down and help you recover from that stress and build up your reserves so that you can be stronger and more fortified.
According to Dr. Tagati, cultivating positive emotions will help regulate physiological activity and limit the negative effects of stress. I thought she had a very soothing background there with the flowers and the plants and the pictures. Yeah,
Taking her own advice there.
Yeah, exactly. All right, a lot more news ahead right here at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, a Sunday morning homicide and a quick investigation puts two in custody before the day is over. What police in Schenectady are telling us about the case tonight.